right, welcoming you to chair yoga for the care of Waldenstroms and whatever else you've got going on. So yoga seems to be increasingly studied as an intervention for a lot of different things: stress, chronic illness like cancer, and most recently a study came out about yoga being useful for sharpening our minds. And it does this by training us to be present, essentially. That's basically, I'm just boiling the whole research study down into that statement. But they basically, showed that in this study that it was beneficial for older adults who are at an increased risk for cognitive decline. So, we want to reduce that stress and improve that neurocognitive efficiency. And we do that just by continuously bringing our awareness back to the present and being in our bodies with our minds. So without further ado, let's do some yoga. And I personally could use a little staying sharp myself today. So let's begin by placing the feet on the earth, the seat on the chair. Right, maybe you're going to sit away from the back of the chair a little bit so you're using your core. And we're just going to begin by moving the head from side to side. I'm going to start with some movement right out of the gate. And we're just noticing how that feels to move the head from side to side. And perhaps you might begin to infuse this simple movement with your breath. One more on each side. And I'm coming back to neutral, and I'm going to take some little circles of my head. And I like to use my imagination all the time. And in this particular case, I'm imagining that I have a beam of light coming up out of the top of my head, and I'm making a circle on the ceiling with that beam of light. And it could be a very, very small circle. Continuing to breathe. Just noticing. And if you hear lots of snap, crackle, pop, maybe you make your circle a little smaller. Could come the other direction. And then we're relaxing back to center, and I'm just going to take a moment taking the glasses off if I'm wearing them, or I could leave them on. It's all good. And I'm just going to rub my hands or my paws together. Create a little friction. And my goal here is just to cover my eyes and maybe take a moment to come into a more internal place, right? However you want to get there. And I could take a few easy breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just beginning to arrive. Maybe rolling the eyes around a little bit. See if you could take just 2 more breaths. Right here, right now. And slowly releasing the arms down. And if there's a little massage you want to do on the way, that would be fine. Okay, so let's begin some simple movements. Yeah, some of you are massaging your face. That could feel good. smoothing out the area, the in between the brows, massaging the scalp. I did a whole scalp massage with somebody privately the other day. Super helpful for migraine and headache. And we were literally pulling our hair away from the scalp, and it felt so, so good. So that's something you could do or have someone else do for you. So a little bit of massage, thinking about what one of our participants said before we began, that self-care is a full-time job. It really is a full-time job for so, so many of us. And so let's make it exquisite. Let's take exquisite care of ourselves. All right, so coming back to your posture, your seat, maybe you take the hands down into the lap for a moment. And then I'm going to stretch my right arm out to the right. And I might go ahead and just wave my hand up and down a few times. And then I'll keep my palm lifted and tilt my left ear away from that arm and begin to circle the palm. Taking some breaths as the palm moves downward little by little. Got it, Joyce? Little by little, moving the arm down and maybe tucking the arm behind the back. See how it would feel to spin the chin down and just relax. Both shoulders, take a couple breaths. And then releasing up to center and switching sides. Left arm out to the left. I could wave my hand up and down a few times. Just awareness of everything happening over there on the left side of my body. And we'll keep the palm lifted. Tilt that right ear to the right shoulder and begin to circle the palm. Little easy circles. And what's happening with that right shoulder? Can you let it relax? Yes, very good. Bringing that palm downward little by little. Just noticing. Tucking the arm behind the back. Spinning the chin down, 2 easy breaths. Allow the shoulders to soften and relax. I'm exactly where I need to be today. All right, and then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to lean forward a little bit. Maybe place my hands or my paws a little farther forward on my knees. I'm leaning forward and I'm going to give you a really interesting view of my tongue right now. We want to try our lion's breath. Actually, I'll do it from the side so it's not quite so offensive. So with lion's breath, I'm going to be opening my mouth, sticking out my tongue as far as feels good, and then creating a little sound like that. And I'm going to be letting go of whatever it is I need to let go of here. So we'll take 3 lion's breaths. All right, and I just turned up my volume a little bit. Does that sound okay? Yes. All right. So go ahead and take a moment, take a sip of water. If you have it, I have a little echinacea tea here. Sort of recovering from a cold. And we're going to practice some simple movements, just repetitive, slow flow movements to help us get into, to help us connect the mind and body. Really, that's the goal here. And maybe there's an affirmation or intention you want to repeat internally. I am present is a really, really good one. So I'm going to keep reminding myself, I am present. I'm going to start by lifting the arms out to the sides just a little bit. Breathe in. Exhale the arms down. Inhale, maybe you go a little higher. Exhale, release. Each time you can lift the arms a little bit higher. We're taking the gradual approach. Inhaling as I lift. Exhaling as I release down. I could even close my eyes and really filling my whole body with my awareness. Breathing in and out. You've got it. And maybe this time I inhale, my palms face up. And my exhale, my palms face down. And I'm only going as far as feels good to my shoulders. Pumping the lymph fluid, pumping the blood. Maybe we'll do 2 more arm salutes. Inhale, swoop the arms up. Exhale, take a soft landing with those arms. And 1 more. Beautiful. I'm taking a little bit of a wider stance with my feet. My hands are coming onto my knees or onto my lap. And I'm taking a circular motion. You knew what was coming, right? Circular motion to warm up the spine. I am present in my spine. I am present in my breath. And I'm going to go at my own pace. And I'm going to care for my own energy levels today. And I might come back the other direction. So this is you will see this type of movement in Kundalini Yoga, which is not something I practice much of, but consequently, or I should say additionally, in the study we were mentioning at the top of our class that was done on yoga being good for cognition, cognitive function, it was Kundalini Yoga that they used. And this is one of those Kundalini exercises where we're doing a repetitive movement over and over again with the breath that kind of gets the energy flowing. Coming back to center. All right. Using that gradual approach, once again, I'm going to bring my right hand up to my right rib cage and lean over to the left. Breathe into the hand. See if you can lift that rib cage with your breath. And exhale, come on back to center. Left hand, left rib cage, leaning to the right, breathing in, breathing out. Good, and I might try that again, same thing. Right hand, right rib cage, breath in and breath out. Left hand, exhale. I could keep doing it that way. It's a beautiful thing to experience. Or I might lift that right arm up just a little bit, leaning to the left and coming back. Breathing in, left arm lift. You can let the right arm dangle and back. Each time I might go a little bit farther, but I'm still anchoring down through my feet and my seat. You got it, Joan. Beautiful. I'm going to take 1 more on each side. And I might grab onto my chair and just step the feet back in, step the feet out a few times. So I'm turning on sort of my core layer, my core muscles. I'm going to see if I can do this without rocking from side to side too much. All right, so I'm really trying to use that core strength, those hip flexors, Walking in, walking out. You've got it, Marnie. And the next time that I walk my legs in, I'm going to stay in and bring my arms out to the sides. Palms facing forward. Inhale, lift the heart. Maybe you do a little back bend, get a little bit of arching of the back there. And then I'm going to give myself a hug. One arm on top, doesn't matter which. I could tuck my chin and take a breath in. Sigh it out the mouth. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, hug. Opposite arm on top, tucking the chin, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Taking care of ourselves. And last one. Really big hug. And we can sit up tall from there. And I'm going to scoot myself back into my chair so I have that support behind me. I might even grab onto my chair and see how it would feel to lift both legs. Lifting both legs straight out in front and zipping them together like a mermaid's tail. And I might point and flex my toes a few times if that would feel good, if that would be accessible to me. And then I'm going to keep my legs lifted and lift my arms straight out in front, zipping up my core, plugging those shoulders back. So here I am in a boat pose. Big breath in. Exhale, release down. You could take a breath in between. Maybe you want to scoot forward just a little bit in the chair. That's going to ramp it up, make it a little bit harder. Or you could stay back at the back of the chair. Lois, this is just, you stay where you were because you don't have a back to your chair. Okay, so we're lifting both legs up again. And if it felt safe, maybe both arms. Zipping up that core, little mermaid's tail. Big breath in. And exhale it down. All right, so option to come forward even more, but before you go into the full pose, just sort of feel if that feels balanced or not. So we're coming as far forward as we can without falling out of our chairs. And we're going to try a third boat pose here. Yeah, make it work for you. I don't want to crumble in my low back, so I'm really lifting that heart. Big breath in. And exhale, release. And I'm just going to take a little walk in place here for a moment. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Easy breaths. Swing those arms, swing those legs. All right. Now, let's go ahead and bring this right leg over to the right. I'm going to keep my torso pointing towards you. And then I'll bring my left heel straight out in front with the toe pointing to the ceiling. Right, and I want to feel safe here, so please stabilize as needed. Option to swing the leg a little bit farther to the left if that feels okay to you and your hip and your stability, your sense of stability. So I'm coming into a warrior two in a chair, sort of foot posture. It's an open hip position. Option to bring both hands out. So I've got my wings lifted, and I'm going to take a peek at my right hand, a peek at my left hand, and I'm going to make any adjustments so I feel stable here. That's good. And then I could turn my gaze over that right hand, soften my shoulders, and see if I could hug the muscles in my hips and legs. So I've contracted those muscles, so I'm working in the legs and the hips here, even though I'm seated. Big breath. And then I'm exhaling this left hand down, and I'm going to lift my right arm up for a reverse warrior. Right, so it's a big side stretch as well. That's good. Coming back to warrior two. Gazing over that right finger, I am present. And then an option to bring that right forearm across the right thigh and lift the left arm up and over for extended side angle. Right? Keep that left shoulder back. It's almost like I'm trying to reach my heart up towards the ceiling. My legs are engaged. Big breath. Gaze could be down, gaze could be forward, gaze could be up, whatever feels best on your neck. And then we're coming back. You got it, Karen. That's beautiful. Got it, Marnie. And I'm just going to walk my feet back to center and maybe take a few breaths here, maybe moving my spine however would feel good, maybe a little cat-cow or a little cat to neutral. So I want to just take a breather. It's, thinking about your pelvis, the pelvic tilt. I'm doing this in a seated posture. So it's really just my pelvis moving, tipping forward and back a few times. And then I'm going to try all of that on the other side. So I'm sliding my left leg to the left toes pointing out to the left. Right heel on the earth, toes pointing up. You could scoot this right leg to the right if that would feel good. My torso still pointed towards you. My legs are engaged, and I'm going to float my wings out and shift my gaze. I am present over that left hand, softening where I can soften, such as the shoulders and jaw. Feeling that strength in my legs. Very good. And then let's bring that right hand down. Flip that left hand up. Trace the ceiling. Reverse the warrior. Exhale back to warrior two. I'm not in any hurry. I'm going to reach this left arm forward. Drape it across my left thigh. That right arm can move up and over to whatever degree feels safe. Spinning my heart towards the ceiling. It's almost like I'm twisting to the left, pushing my arm into my thigh. And then I'm coming back nice and slow. And I'll come back to a seated posture. Take my hands into my lap. Close my eyes. And take some breaths here. Envisioning in your mind's eye the steps it would take to come to a standing pose and how you will do so mindfully if this is your choice today. Opening the eyes. And when I'm ready, if I've decided it's for me, I'm going to come to stand. Transitioning mindfully and taking a moment to reset my space. I love that. Mindful transition, Karen. Beautiful. Right, and maybe you're doing a few sit to stands. Oh my gosh, Ginger, I can't keep up with you today. Really nice. It's always an option, right, to practice standing up and doing it a few times. And this is where we're bringing our yoga practice into daily life. So I'm always in a self-care mode, and I'm always trying to connect the mind and body for, the best possible awareness. So coming to stand, my first standing pose is very often mountain pose. And you can practice mountain pose, well, pretty much anywhere, right? You're standing in line, you're waiting, you're talking to a friend. I'm going to root down through my feet and lower legs. Allow my hands, my arms to rest at my sides. Feel that strength in your legs. And find a place to gaze that's farther away. And just take a moment to observe where your field of vision begins and ends. How far can you see down to the floor without shifting your gaze down? To the sides, overhead. Just defining the borders of your vision field. And then anchoring down again through the feet. The legs are strong. And I could take some breaths here. And as I inhale, I'm envisioning sort of taking sips of air up one side of a mountain, sliding down the other side of the mountain with my exhalation. Breathing in, sipping the air. Exhaling, sliding down the other side of the mountain. I'm taking one more mountain breath. Beautiful. Now I'm just going to bend my knees a little bit. Shift my weight into my heels, bring my hips back. And I'm isometrically pushing my feet apart. So I've really turned on my glute muscles. Option to bring the hands to the chair or bring the arms straight out in front for chair pose. And we're going to hold this for 3 breaths. Sigh it out the mouth. You got it, Gordon. Even a little lower if you're feeling up to it. Beautiful. One more big breath. And then I'm coming up out of it and walking it out. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Maybe you want to take a sip of water instead of walking in place. That would be perfectly fine. All right. I'm going to do a little stretch here for my back. Some of you said you had low back issues going on, and I love my version of a down dog to address bringing some space into the spine. So I've stepped away from my chair. If I am caring for glaucoma or vertigo, I'm going to keep my head lifted. If my hamstrings feel really tight today, I'll soften my knees. One more breath. And then I'm walking myself up and stepping just the right foot forward. Bringing the left foot back at a little angle. And sinking into my right knee for warrior 1 foot posture. If you feel wobbly here, take a wider base. Walk the right foot to the right. I'm squeezing that left glute muscle. And I can do whatever feels best for me with my arms, with my hands. Maybe I keep my hands on the chair. Maybe I lift my arms up. And I'm sinking into this warrior 1 with the strength in my legs and my heart lifted. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Torso is upright. You got it, Carol. I like that. And then we're releasing and shortening our stances and moving into pyramid pose. So option to bring the forearms onto the chair, or maybe you want to bring the hands behind the back and lean forward with the heart. Both legs are strong and straight, and I'm tucking my chin so that I get a nice long back of the neck. You got it? That's beautiful. Can you take one more easy breath? Both legs are straight. Good, and then I'm making my way up, stepping my left foot forward, bringing my right foot back at a little angle. Both hips pointing forward as I sink into my left knee. Squeeze my right glute. Now, if this feels like too much, you could shorten the stance. See if I could bring my torso from a leaning forward position to an upright position. And then I'm doing whatever feels good with my hands, with my arms. I could lift them. I could bring the hands to heart center. I could keep my hands on the chair. Right, do what feels best to you, including not doing it if it does not feel best to you. Beautiful breath. All right, I'm coming out of it nice and slow. And I'm going to shorten my stance. So good to see you back practicing standing poses, Sophie, after the journey with your knee. And I'm going to lean forward and take my pyramid pose. I've got my left foot forward, right foot back, legs are straight, and I could be using the chair for support, or I could be using my hands behind my back. It's a little bit harder. And I'm going to care for my neck by tucking my chin, big breath, side out the mouth, pulling that belly towards the spine. And then making my way back up, stepping both feet towards my chair, sinking into one more chair pose here. So I'm bending my knees. Weight is in the heels. You could even play around with picking up the toes. Pull that belly towards the spine. Maybe the hands reach forward. Maybe they reach up. See what feels good to you. Chair pose. Find that place to gaze. I am present. All right, and I'm coming out of it nice and slow, and I'll take another downward facing dog. Taking that downward facing dog, my hands are on my chair or the wall or a countertop. And I might take a step a little bit farther away and see if I could find some more length in my spine. And if this feels like too much on the shoulders, you can bend the elbows. And then I'm walking myself up. Walking it out, taking a sip of water if you need it. And I want to try a triangle pose today. So once again, I'm going to turn towards my chair. I'm going to step my right foot forward and bring my left foot back at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to turn my torso towards you. And I'm going to kind of kick out my left hip, like a sassy teenager is what I think of. My legs are engaged, and I'm going to take my left hand onto my left hip here. And this could be my triangle. Or I might sort of play around with where this right arm is. And I could pretend that my right hand is a little teapot spout that I'm pouring out over my right foot. Then I might come and bring my hand onto my thigh or onto my chair, keeping that left shoulder back. And my friends, traditionally the gaze is up, but I like to bring my gaze down for triangle to care for my neck. And you do whatever feels good to you. Maybe this left arm lifts up, right? So you're only going as far as feels good to you. Feel that wingspan. You've got it. And then I'm coming up nice and slow. I'm going to bring all 10 toes to face the same direction, and I might take a little wider stance, take some hip circles. I might take some windmills with my arms. I haven't done this in a while. I let my arms just sort of be heavy weight. And then I'll take my triangle on the other side. So I've got a little space between my feet, left toes turned to the left, angle that right foot in. My torso's still pointing towards you, and I'm sassing out my left hip. And I'm going to play a little bit with my teapot. So my right hand is on my right waist, and my left hand is pouring over my left leg. I'm trying to keep my right shoulder back, and I'm going to find what feels good to me on this side. It could feel different. I could skip it. I could sit down and breathe if that would feel better. Maybe I bring my left hand down onto my left leg or onto my chair. Maybe I lift that right arm up. And as I reach up, I'm imagining a rope, and that rope is lifting me a little bit higher. Very good. And let's come on out of this. And we'll take one more downward facing dog. When you're ready, come on up. And let's get ready for the sitting down challenge. So the goal is to be as slow as possible with sitting down. And if this feels like not good on your knees, don't do it. But I'm going to just gradually sit in my chair as slow as I can go. And I've already turned on my glute muscles from all those chair poses. Turned on my core muscles. And if your knees start barking at you, just come on down. Yeah, that's good. All right, there's a few of you are still sitting down. So taking your time, you got it. It's beautiful. And when you're ready, we'll close with our 2 closing stretches. Karen, gold stars for Karen. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left knee. Thank you, Renee. That's good, Gordon. Flexing my right foot rather than pointing it. And maybe I take a moment to massage the lower limb, the foot, whatever's available. And then when I'm ready, I could move into my hip stretch. I might lean forward a little bit. I might tuck my chin, close my eyes. I am present. Where can I soften? When you're ready, sit up tall. Cross that knee over. Getting ready to twist to the right. I'm zipping everything up. Inhale. Exhale, twisting to the right. Maybe it's a very gentle twist, and I'm not going very far. Good. Relaxing back to center. Switching sides. Left ankle over the right knee. Maybe I take a moment to massage my lower limbs. A lot of you have told me that you get massages regularly. Some of you have mentioned they help with things like peripheral neuropathy. Something to consider. And when I'm ready, I'll move into my hip stretch. I might already be feeling enough sensation, in which case I'll stay where I am, or I might lean forward a little bit. And you can also do this in a reclining posture by pulling, by hugging the leg in. So we're just reducing the distance between the torso and the leg. Got it, Bev. Couple more breaths. I am present. Really needed this one today. And then we'll sit up, cross the knee over, get ready for your twist by sitting up tall and inhaling. Exhale, easy, gentle twist to the left. And then we're relaxing, releasing back to center, making any other movements the body's asking for. Maybe there's some side bending, maybe you want to give yourself another hug. And then we'll wind down with a little bit of rest. So feel free to get yourself into a rest pose. Maybe that's a seated rest pose. Maybe that's reclining. So I'm just going to take a moment to shift my posture so that I feel supported. Maybe I just rest a blanket across my lap. If I'm reclining, I could put something underneath my knees or my head. And that looks like a really cozy little spot, Joyce. Beautiful. And I'm just going to take a moment, settle in. Closing my eyes and just allowing my body to rest, to do nothing in this moment. Can I let my jaw relax? Can I allow my shoulders to soften away from the ears? And I let my arms drain of effort. And I allow my belly to soften and relax and be the shape it really is. Draining effort from the legs down to the feet. Infusing this body with my breath, allowing my body to rest. Taking a moment to nourish myself in stillness and silence. And whether you're seated or reclining, let's take a few belly breaths together. So as we breathe in, the belly expands, fills like a balloon. And as we breathe out, we relax the exhalation all the way out. Inhale, belly fill. Exhale, belly relax. And then we'll plant this seed one more time. I am present. Very good. When you're ready, you can come out of your meditative rest space. If you need to stay resting for a little while longer, you're always welcome to do that. Coming back into the body by licking the lips and swallowing. Moving the shoulders up, back, and down. Maybe relaxing the shoulder blades. And then we can take the hands or the paws to heart center and widen out our awareness from this body to all of the bodies and spirits in this WM community space. And sending out those tendrils of support to one another. Some of us going through a lot. Some of us sort of staying pretty stable right now. Sending out tendrils and receiving that support as well if you are in need. And we'll close this session with the sound of Om and 3 Shantis. You can listen or join in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And thanking you so much for your practice, my friends. Namaste.